The recording is in progress, so if you are not okay with that, Russ, you'll have to leave.
Who's with me? Is it just me or is there somebody?
We have Breezy and Hans in the room.
Hey, Russ.
Hey, what's going on? Teach us some Docusign.
I will teach you Docusign, and we will make you all experts by the time we are done today. And I am going to share my screen. Share. Hide my video panel. Okay. So the first thing we need to talk about when we're talking about Docusign is actually how we get into Docusign from an opportunity. And the best way to go into Docusign the first time, so you're creating the opportunity and you need to link the room and your opportunity together, is to create the room through the opportunity. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to create the opportunity right here. We're inside of opportunities inside of command. I'm also going to turn on my cursor because that's what I bought it for. So I'm going to click create opportunity right here. And I'm going to fill this out. I'm not going to go over a lot of creating this opportunity because that is a different class.
We delete it, like if we just do like an example one.
Yeah, you can archive them and they'll go away. Green. Okay, I'll click create. So I'm inside of the opportunity dashboard on the details section, and then I'm going to click on documents. And inside of documents, I need to pick a checklist type first to decide what checklist I need to be able to focus on. So I'll pick checklist type. I'll say residential. So I'm doing a residential listing contract or listing right now. And I see that there's a little DS next to this exclusive listing agreement, DS next to residential listing form and seller property disclosure, and the KWRG realty property information agreement of sellers.
Can I stop you for a second?
Yes.
Creating that opportunity, it
Uh-huh.
will let me, it says client field is required.
Yep, you have to put a client in there. Did you type
I just typed example. Does it have to be in my
It
contract?
has to be in the contract.
Okay.
So if you're in the contract, make one.
So, where did you go from there?
So from here, I'm going to go into the documents tab after you've created it.
And then add new customer folder.
And then you're going to go click on the pick checklist type, and you're going to choose residential. And that should bring you here.
And Blake, you chose listing over buyers on the previous page, right?
I did. Yep.
All right, just want to make sure.
So we are looking at listings right now. This is the listing paperwork area. So it says listed.
Mine says consultation.
So you chose a buyer. You did a buyer one then if it says consultation.
Oh, was I supposed to do?
That's okay. You could do whichever one. It's going to be the same
Okay.
process.
Okay, because I meant consultation. Mine looks nothing like this.
Okay, so go to the folder that says under contract. It'll be the second one on the left.
Okay.
Yep. So inside of here, I'm using this as just an example. If you're using a buyer one, that's okay. It will say consultation at the top instead of listed, but both will say under contract. To get into Docusign though, all I have to, back to what these DSs are. So this stands for a form that's going to be pulled in for you into the room, so you don't have to go searching for it. So I'm going to click start a transaction.
Is that new feature? Sorry.
Yeah, yep, that's
Okay.
it. Okay. It's going to ask me to log in. Oh. Yep, start a transaction is going to take us in to start transaction for.
You do start transaction after you click on what?
So it'll be. Oh, you do not have Docusign.
Yeah. All right, now you can go back to the application. Oh. Okay, thank you.
All right. So with this new Docusign function, it pulls in possible forms we will probably need. If we don't need something that has been pulled in, I can select it. We'll just say I don't need that. And I select in the corner, a little check mark, and then there's a trash can. I can click delete. And I just delete it.
So if you have nothing there.
If you have nothing there, then nothing is pulled in because buyer side probably doesn't have anything yet. I haven't worked on it. So it'll be
Okay.
empty. We're gonna go over how to add things right now.
I was just gonna ask you that question, if it
Yeah.
was gonna do the same on the buyers. So you actually made these changes?
It's a function. I have to go into the back end to do it so everyone can
Okay,
have access to it. So I don't have it finished for the buyer side, just the listing side.
no, that's cool. That's good. Thank you.
So if I need to add documents, so I'm maybe a contract, I'm going to click on this blue add button. And then I'll click DocuSign Forms. Now, if you haven't been in DocuSign yet, it's going to pop up and it's going to ask you where would you like to pull forms from? And it'll say Realtor or Northwest Listing System. And you're going to choose Realtor. It's going to ask you to put in your NERDS number, your NRDS number at the top. Your information should already be filled in from there, and then you'll click Accept.
Association.
Yep, and then the association will be Florida. They are not alphabetical. I don't know why DocuSign doesn't like alphabet.
So once we've selected them, we're first time, we're good.
Yes, yep. It only has to be done once. All right, so right now, we're probably looking at the whole library of documents. And that's a lot. This is a lot of stuff. So we are actually going to have it broken down in groups, which are already broken down for us. On the left-hand side, you'll see that there's brokerage relationship form group. And if I click on that, it'll bring up all the brokerage relationship forms. There's a buyer sale package for FARBAR. This is the Florida Association of Realtors and the Bar Association, it's the legalese. Yeah. All of them have legal paperwork in them. This is just what it was called in .loop. So it's okay to pull anything from any of these forms. They've all been approved. So if you're a buyer, working with a buyer, you'll click the buyer sale package, FARBAR. And the first one is the as-is residential contract. These do go alphabetically in here, or they're supposed to. So the as-is contract is the very first one. And if you need a standard contract, or what they call standard, it's called the residential contract for sale and purchase. You will see some listings say we'll only accept standard contract. And this is what they're talking about, the residential contract for sale and purchase.
I've been seeing everything saying that this.
I mean, it'll depend. Because there are now, because of the market, they'll say standard only. And there's only like one or two differences in between those. And most teachers only teach the as is contract because it is the most prevalent. But we've been seeing more of an uptick for the standard as well. Yeah. And if you're wondering what the difference is, please contact Sally Wagner or our broker, Murray Coleman, and he can answer those questions.
Single agent with consent to transition. So
Yep.
becoming a transaction broker.
Yes. As for this office, we need to be a transaction broker because that's what our broker requires.
So meaning like, for example, I have a friend that might list his house.
Yep.
And I have buyers that I met yesterday that are looking for exactly which type of listing. So
Mhm.
I would be able to help them.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. If you were a single agent, you'd only be able to help one.
Right.
So if you want to help both of them and have both sides of the deal, you must be a transaction broker.
Which I'm able to do.
Yes. Yep. So if I want to add a form, I would click on the checkbox next to it. So I'm going to add the as is.
Which ones do you recommend that we add, just so we have all of the basics? So- You know what I mean?
Depends on the transaction. Is it a listing or is it for buying side?
We're in a listing right now.
Yeah. Yeah. The example that we're using is a listing form. But if you're using a buyer side, you're going to start off with the contract itself, the as is or the standard.
For a listing, we're not gonna be adding it.
No. If you're listing, you're not going to be adding a contract for sale and purchase because the buyer's agent will send that to you. So if I'm just adding anything, I'm just going to add the as is just in case. So I have the as is contract in here. That was how you add a document into Docusign. If I want to edit a form in here, I can do it a couple different ways. The first way is I can go into details and I can pre-fill in any information that I have. So the more information I put in here, the more it's going to translate into our forms. I can click on the edit button up here in the corner and all these boxes become editable. I can put in an address. I can put in my listing date. So let's say we want to start the listing today. So it'd be the 10th. The listing expiration date will be, say, January or February. We'll do February 10th. Put the listing amount. $1 million. Don't have an offer date in there because this is not a purchase contract. Don't have closing information. This is not a bidding, so we're not doing that. Don't have that. Don't have that. On the right-hand side, this is where the buyers and sellers will come in. So we have seller 1, and then seller 2, listing agent 1, listing agent 2, and then I scroll down, buyer 1, buyer 2, buyer agent 1, buyer agent 2.
We can have as many people with the top right hand.
Yeah, so if I click on here, it's going to ask me to fill in from the contacts. You can have as many people as you want, but it's only going to autofill 2. So if I have, I don't know who any of these people are. So if I have 6 people on a contract, which it does come up, you're going to go into the actual contract itself and you're going to do comma, and then name, comma, name, comma, name. And I'll show you that.
Okay.
So let's say I've made the updates. I'll click save. Go back into documents. I'm working on the listing agreement right now. So I click on this and I open it up. And you'll see now that it has an address in there, the dates for my listing terms. So I'm in you're in buyers unless you added a listing agreement.
Right, so I click save.
Uh-huh.
Save.
Okay. So I went back into documents. Yep. And this is in the listing agreement. If you're looking at it as is residential or just another contract, it'll also do the same thing. It has the address. If I need to add more people, so let's say I have multiple people, after my name, and do comma. Oops. Okay. The more information I fill in at any of these forms, the more information will also carry over into other documents. So I didn't have to necessarily go into details. I could have gone right into this contract and started filling everything out that I could. It will still transfer into the other documents as well. So I'm going to say that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sellers for this listing agreement. My brokerage is right here. I don't know if we need to change this to Murray's name or not. I don't know. That is a question to ask. It should be Keller Williams Realty Gold because we're the brokerage. That's the brokerage's name.
Right.
So this will stay here.
A DocuSign class.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So then that should be sure. Yep. That's it. Nope. That's all you need because that's the brokerage's name. My address is in here, but I need to go get my legal description, which will be found on the county records. Copy and paste that legal description. Do not type it in.
Long.
Why?
Long. You want long description. Why you want to copy and paste it is because if you miss one letter or one number, you're going to be selling the wrong property. So it's much better to copy and paste. If it's too long, you can add an attachment instead and say, see attachment. Land descriptions will have a very long one sometimes. Actually, not just land descriptions. Any description can be very long, and it can be longer than these 2 lines. Let's see, the property is not occupied. What kind of cash? So I'm just going through here and I'm just filling it out. So cash, conventional, VA, FHA. Seller expenses, seller will pay mortgage. No, we're not going to do that because we didn't select seller financing.
Is that one dependent on the other?
So right now I'm not teaching you guys what to fill in here. I'm teaching you how to do it.
Yep.
So it's easy. I click in a box, I fill in the information, and it'll go in there. Any questions on what goes in there needs to be directed towards Murray or Sally.
Murray or Sally?
Murray or Sally Wagner. Murray Coleman or Sally Wagner. Both of them are. For gold, for Inglewood Gold. No, they're business partners. Murray is a broker on record, but she is a real estate attorney, and they work together, so you can ask her questions as well. She does teach the contracts classes and everything.
Yeah.
Sally Wagner or Murray Coleman. You could go into the Facebook KW Brokers Forum page. You can ask questions there. If it's not urgent, you can also email them. If it is urgent, please text them.
So, when I had my first meeting with Danielle before I decided on this brokerage, she said that all of your contracts go through our lawyer. Is that Sally? She said that all
they're written by lawyers. They go through compliance.
Compliance,
Yes,
yeah.
so they go through compliance, which is Rhoda. Rhoda does compliance, and she is our virtual compliance person.
Okay, so if there's something wrong, does it get shot back to us?
If a signature is missing or a initial is missing, it will be shot back to you.
But everything else, like if there's something else wrong on it or something?
It's very hard to put anything wrong in there.
Okay,
So this is written by lawyers to make it very straightforward. Wrong would be like what you're talking about lawyer wise.
Well, there's a difference too, so.
Yeah.
You might not be filling something out that the customer wants, but they're not, no one's gonna know that.
Right.
Just know you filled out everything, shouldn't have filled out, and you shouldn't be able to do that.
right.
Yeah, yeah. And there are many things that she'll go through. She'll be like, I don't know if this is right. Let me ask. So it is checked by compliance.
So Murray or Sally or the request.
Yes, yep. We'll use a lockbox. This is important. These are important. So I'm just I'm going through, I'm checking the boxes, putting in numbers. Oops, not that.
You have yet for you to go to the next thing.
No, you can go to anything at any time in here.
Okay, so I can just watch it. I don't have
Yep.
to be following.
Yep. So that it works the same way in any form. The box is there, you type in the information and you fill it out.
So would it make sense to go through one of these, fill out all the stuff that you might consider boilerplate? And have it ready and just be able to fill out the buyers?
There is actually a template that we can use so you can apply it to everything. So yes, that would make sense. I'll go get through that in just a moment. So we're pretending that I filled everything out correctly in here. All the information is in here. Great. I'm going to click save and close. And let's see, if I open up the seller's property disclosure, we're going to see that information has translated over, such as the address and the names of our sellers. Oh, just the address. So the address has come through. And now the seller's responsibility is to fill this out. We don't do that.
So since you're in the listing side of things, is
Mhm.
that already pre-existing in here for the listing side? You said there's nothing left for there's nothing yet for the buyers. The portal, but that was already there for the listing side?
Yes, yeah, it's one of the documents that's going there. Yep. Now inside of command, it does tell you the checklist of all the documents you need, and it'll say required next to them.
Okay, where in command is it?
It'll be whenever you go into this, you'll see it says requirement required. It'll say exclusive listing agreement. In the buyers, it'll say sales contract, it'll say required. So this is our checklist in here, these lists of documents.
Okay. Basically, the seller's disclosure is filled out by the seller. Does that have
Yep.
to be strictly online or can that just?
They can print it out and do it.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
Nope. And then you can scan it in.
I'm just asking like printing wise, and some people have chicken scratch. It's not legible.
Oh, no, so these are just check boxes. They may write in chicken scratch, and it's going to be up to other people to kind of decipher what it means. It won't be, because they're filling it in.
Right.
It is, we're doing everything they're required to do. So now I'll click save and close. This is correct. And I do that for every piece of paperwork in here. But now I need signatures. The way I'm going to do signatures is I'm going to go up to envelopes. And I'm going to click on the new button up here. Once I click the new button, an envelope page will open. It's going to ask me the name. And this is only for you for organization purposes. They're not going to see the envelope name. So it could be listing docs with the person's name or their address attached to it. It could be it could be anything you want. It's for your organization purposes. So I'm going to call this listing docs. And then I'm going to come down to room docs in this box here. I now have a list of documents that I have inside of the room itself. So I need signatures on my exclusive right of sale listing agreement. I actually need signatures on most of these, but I'm not going to put in my property disclosure because that takes forever. And I'll take that one. I'll take that one. And I'll click add selected. Once I have the form selected that I want signed, I'm going to come down to add recipient, and I'm going to click pre-tagged roles. Inside of pre-tagged roles, it's going to ask me who's involved in this signing. It's going to ask, I'm going to say I'm going to have seller 1 and seller 2, the listing agent. We don't need the brokerage signature, but if you would like a brokerage signature, you can always send it to klrw910@kw.com for a signature. Once I have these selected, I'm going to come over to the drop-down menu and choose who these people are. So seller 1, we're going to say is actually me, but I don't want this one. Seller 2, just for the sake of this demonstration, I'm not going to have selected. I just want the seller 1. Listing agent, I come down, I am also the listing agent. Then I'll click add selected. Change this to what? Wow.
That's sell one, sell two, if you have to have two sellers in the property.
I'll show you how to do that. Yep.
What's buyer?
Buyer to agent. Fine.
Because I'm in the buyer side.
Oh.
So like when I go to select recipient and do
Yeah.
buyer 1, I
So,
go to
yeah.
the drop bar.
Yeah.
It just gives me 2 options, buyer, seller, agent, 2 or 5 like that.
It means you don't, I wouldn't choose that one. That's one. Buyer two.
So if I have more than 2 sellers or buyers, I'm going to click add recipient, and then I'm going to do it by email address instead. So I can add multiple people on here now. Let's see, I can add. Okay. Now also on the side, you'll see that some of them have numbers. This is the signing order, which means if I have a 1 on here, anyone who has a 1, you can only have like 2 people that have a 1, will be the first ones to sign. When they've signed it, it's going to go to the second signer. When the second signs it, it's going to go to the third signer, and then the 4th, and then the 5th.
That sounds contingent on everybody else.
Mhm.
So what happens?
So I can make some of these the same. Yeah. But see, it only lets me allow 3. I can only have 3. Let's change
So that
this to
sends,
seven.
so by you putting all 3 of those people at 1, it sends them all at the same.
Yes,
3 at
yep.
the same time.
All 3 of these will get it at the same time.
So then once all 3 of those sign, then it goes to 2.
Then it'll go to 2. Yep.
So if you want to make yourself after all of those.
Yeah, I usually put myself last. Mhm.
So what happens if you have like a multiple person that doesn't check their email? Is there like an expiration of 20?
Usually if they don't check their email, you'll just have to resend it to them for a signature, which you can do.
No timeline.
No. The only timing, the expiration you have is within either the offer itself or the start of the contract or the agreement for the listing. But if you have an older person, you're going to talk to them because you're going to call them after you send this and say, hey, I just sent you your contracts to sign. Be sure to sign those as soon as possible. And that's when they'll tell you, well, I don't know how to check my email. I don't have an email. How did you send it to me? Well, you do have an email, or your kid has an email that we've talked to.
Must have an email.
Yes, they must have an email.
What if someone refuses to do this by email? They want to be old school, like sign it.
And you can. So inside of the form area, I'll show. Let's get through this, and then we'll go.
Yeah.
We'll go back to that. Same thing with the templates, because I want to go through that too. All right, so I'm gonna delete a bunch of these. Actually, you know what? I am gonna leave this one. So I just added, this is an email ad, and I just typed in their name in the email, and it's going to create an area for me to edit that. So I'm going to click next. Actually, I can scroll down. Here's an area to send a message to them, maybe instructions on what you should be doing. And then I'll click next.
Very helpful, by the way.
Good, I'm glad, I'm glad. So now we are in the editing area for editing fields. I can't make any changes. Like, so if it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Main Street, it's going to stay that way unless I cross something out. And I'll get to that after we go through the signings. So with the pre-tagged roles, it has automatically put in a seller's initial spot and a spot for me to sign my initials there. And now I just have to go through to make sure that the right spots are where they belong. That's correct. That's correct. And if they're not, yes.
I saw, when I'm shadowing that, she was dragging.
Yep.
From the side, you can get that like signature.
You can.
drag it.
Yep. So what Breezy's talking about, I'm going to get to the signature spot here. So let's say the seller signature isn't there, or I need to add a seller signature. Up here, it has my name selected. It says Blake Whitbold. I need to change that to Blake R. Whitbold, who is my client. And I'm going to come over to the right hand or the left hand side now, and it says signature and standard fields. I'm going to click and I'm going to drag. I'll place it there. I'll do the same thing with the date. But I also need one for Bill Smith, who's also selling it. So I switch it to Bill, drag the signature over, and drag a date over for Bill as well. Now, if I have multiple people, I just keep switching between the names to be able to drag and drop. Same thing's going to go for the initials areas as well. So I'm missing an initial here for Bill. I'll drag an initial in. Get smaller. There. Now, if I click on this menu on the right is going to show up, and it's going to show me recipient, and I can change the recipient in here as well. I can switch between the two Blakes if I want to.
You had when you set up this,
Yep.
tagged it as a role of file.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So pre-tagged roles are going to be separate. I added Bill in with an email address.
Right.
Email addresses aren't going to show up in the pre-tagged roles. So if you get a PDF, you'll upload it, and then you're going to have to add people by email instead. You won't be able to use pre-tagged roles. I'll show you what I mean. So I go through here. This is all correct. Great. Add my signatures where they need to be. Then I would click send. And it's going to be sent to them, and we're going to sign it. So I'm going to send it real quickly. I'm going to actually remove Bill because I don't really want it to go there if there is an email address that exists out there like that. So this is
Create an
right.
envelope name.
Mhm.
Do you use the address?
You can. This envelope, you're only going to see it, and it's only going to be in the room for that particular transaction.
Right.
So you don't need to put the address because it's already connected to it.
Right, but like as far, like if you have like 30 of them,
Uh-huh.
it's gonna be, like, you guys remember, maybe you're not gonna know everybody by name. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when you name your rooms,
Oh, okay, that's what I was-
yeah, when you name your room, name it by the address. Yes, yep. You're going to name your opportunity by the address as well. So when you have the buyer, you're going to start with a name, but once they have an offer in and accepted, you're going to change it to an address. It's going to be a lot easier on you. So I have right here, it says it needs my signature. I'll click on that. And I'll click sign. This is the agent view. Both of us are at number 1, so both of us received it at the same time. I'll click continue. This is what your client will see as well. It'll look like this. Click continue, click start, and then all you have to do is click on it.
Where did you go? Click on the envelope and then.
Yep, so you click on the envelope and it'll says you need to sign, and you'll click on the envelope that needs to sign, and it will take you, and it'll have a button that'll say sign after that. Click that, and then it'll take you into here.
But even though you're creating the form, you can't sign it.
Right. And then make sure that your client and yourself click finish. If they don't click finish and they just close out the window, it will not be signed. It'll still be where it was. Now it says it's waiting for others, so it needs me as a client to sign. Guessing which one I have to sign is the right one. All right, so this, they need to agree. Click continue. They'll click start. If they don't have a signature adopted, it's going to ask them how they would like their signature, and they can select it. So they can either select style. If they don't like this one, they can click change style and choose a different one. They can draw their own if they want to by holding down and clicking and dragging, or they can upload a signature as well. So I adopted it initialed, and I'm just going through clicking to sign.
Excuse me, Blake.
Yes.
Can you show me where you got to adopt the signature again?
Yes. I just did it, so I don't know if I'll be able to.
Okay.
It just pops up. So what'll happen is if they haven't signed before, as soon as they click that first box anywhere,
Right.
it'll pop up for them and it'll say adopt an initial.
Oh, I
or
got you. Okay. That's right. I remember seeing that. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, because once you adopt it, unless you don't have an account or anything like that, it won't ask you again.
Right.
So they're finished signing and click finish. I do not want that, no. Okay, that's done. Back into envelopes. After both have signed, come on. It used to say completed. There we go. And it says completed after everyone has signed in here. If I go to documents, I'm now going to have new versions of the documents that say they're signed. But what if I am sent a PDF that's just a PDF and I need signatures on it? So I'm going to click add for the PDF. I'm going to choose computer wherever I have it saved, because most likely it's been emailed to you by another agent. I'm going to, we'll use this one. I'll click that. So this is just a PDF I'm uploading. I need signatures, so I'm going to go into envelopes, new, name it. I'm going to call this, I'll just leave it, please, DocuSign. Click Room Docs. And the new one I need signed is this one. Selected. So I just uploaded a PDF.
I had to go, in order to move forward, I had to go in. I labeled myself as buyer and seller,
Okay.
so I had to like,
Oh. That hurts my brain thinking about that.
so I had to sign it this way and
Uh-huh.
sign the other one on the cell phone.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
now I'm at the example buyer docs.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna get out of that.
I'll be right back.
Like, documents. Now everything is signed. Okay. Which side? Yeah. So when would you need to add a PDF like that?
That's when an agent sends you a contract. It's not going to be sent in DocuSign. It may come from DocuSign or .loop, but it's just going to be a PDF. And you're going to take it and you're going to upload it into your signing program. So we're going to pretend that I need to sign this as is residential contract.
Okay.
I'm going to click add recipient. And I'll click email address. I'll put my email in here. Put in a message and I'll click next. And now, since I'm the only one signing, I'm the only one here. I need to add in my initial spots. We'll pretend I'm buying. Oh no, this is the buyer's agent sent this to me. So I'm adding in my seller spots. So I'm dragging and dropping. And I'll do that for the rest of the pages. There's 12 pages in the buyer's contract. And then I'm going to be putting in signatures. All right, and then I would click send to get signed, and it will come back to me signed. That's how you add signatures into a PDF or anyone who wasn't part of the pre-tagged roles. Okay. I'm going to go back. If you need to delete a envelope for any reason that hasn't been sent, you go into the envelope, go to actions, you either copy and delete. I'm going to click delete, delete. Now I just have the signed one. This should not be able to be deleted. If I click on it, there's no way to delete this. It's there forever. I'm going to go back into documents. Now, if I want to make a template with something that is boilerplate that I'm going to add into every contract, So any listing agreement, any sales contract, then I might put the same thing everywhere. I'm going to create a template. And to create a template, I'm going to go into My Docs up at the very top. I'm going to have 3 selections: personal, forms, and form templates. So I'll click Form Templates. And then I'm going to click Create Form Template. It's going to ask me, where do I want to get the form from? Do I want to get it from a library or a group? I'm going to choose a group. And it's going to ask me, which group do I want it from? And I'll say, let's see, this is a listing. So listing package single family. Then it's going to go into the group and pull out all the documents that I have. So I know that I'm going to use the exclusive right of sale listing agreement. I'll click use. Yep. It's okay.
Create form template, right?
Yep.
And then select from.
Yep.
My choice is a Docusign form library or form library.
So the listing president, yeah, that's the one.
Sorry, before you go forward,
Uh-huh.
piggybacking on the, you said that you could complete the envelope that hasn't been signed or released, archive them.
Yeah, you can archive documents.
Done.
Yes.
Okay, so like, I labeled this as example envelope and I signed it, so.
Okay, so it will be there.
Okay.
But we can archive the whole opportunity,
Okay,
because you're not going to be going into rooms for anything compliance or otherwise. So it's just to do paperwork in that individual room. So,
I was just curious, sorry.
okay, Joe?
No. Actually, I found this one, right? But, so let's say. Let's say I want this package.
Okay.
Where would I put this?
I did single family.
Okay, that's okay. Now, pull up.
Yeah.
This is the issue that came up with. Is this pop-up box thing? Like, it just doesn't. Go on with that.
We can
Yep.
work on this after too. Okay.
So I selected it.
Uh-huh.
Exclusive right of sale and listing agreement.
Yep.
Well, I did similar, exclusive right of sale, and then transition to a transaction broker.
Yes,
All I have is this.
that's the same issue. Is that also Chrome? Or is
Yeah.
that Safari? What is that, Chrome?
Sorry.
Go into Chrome, try it in Chrome. Mhm. So I'm going to rename this template up at the top. There's a little pencil. I'm going to click on that. Delete this.
So these are for, you said the templates are for what?
If there is something that you are going to put into every contract that you use of this, so in every listing agreement, I put refrigerator, microwave, chandeliers, or whatever into the personal property that will go with the sale. I can put this in this template so I can apply it and it'll automatically be put in there for me, saving me time.
To do it every time.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
So I know I will always put in, let's see, it's a good example here. I will always use a lockbox. What else? Where is the personal property? I missed it. Oh, here we go. Personal property, including appliances. Microwave, fridge, stove, What else? Bookcase. I will always accept cash in any offer. So I can select that. That's about it for me. Some other agents will be different. They'll have other things in there. But a lot of this is varies from case to case, like the compensation. It's not always going to be 6%. It could be something else. Same thing with core operation and the compensation with other brokers. Get it? Cool.
Oh.
Chrome. So after I'm done, I'll click Save and Close. So here's the new template we've created. I'm going to go into my rooms. Go back into the one that I used here. I'm going to delete these here.
Back to the Docusign,
Mhm.
where you're at for this month. Opportunities. Click on opportunities.
All right, so now I need to add that document and use the template for it. So I will go into Add, DocuSign Forms. Pull up my listing package single family. Here it is. I select that. And now after I select the exclusive right of listing, it's going to ask me, and it's going to give me a drop-down menu. It's going to ask me which template do I want to use for it. And I would say I want to use the class one because that's what I made for it. I'll click Add Selected. So now if I go in here, oh, nope, wrong one. If I go in here, it will have, oh no, it overtook. It would have applied my personal property in here, cash and terms, but because I've already written this, it won't apply it. So that's what you do at the very beginning. If you're adding something, you add the template before you start sending things out and writing everything. What was the other one that we wanted to cover? Those templates. Went over, oh, I wanted to show you making corrections inside of an envelope. So I have to go into envelopes. Oh no, not here. So I need to make a correction to a contract that was sent to me. I'm going to say, okay, I need to make a correction to the listing agreement. So I'm going to go into envelopes, click new. Correction, room docs. I'm going to pull in the signed listing agreement. I'll click add selected. Recipient email address. And I'll click next. And we'll say I need to correct the address. Maybe I got the address wrong, but it was still signed. No one paid attention until, oh, wrong address. Okay. No problem. I'm going to click on the little pencil button on the left-hand side where it says pre-fill tools. I'm going to choose line. Then I'll go to the very beginning of the address and then I'm going to drag it over it. Release. So now the line is scratching it through. We go back into the standard fields. Pull in a text box. Double click it, just type 2245. Make the correction. I'm gonna make this a little bit longer to make it one line. I'm gonna move it over. And I'm also gonna come over to the right-hand side where it says required field. I'm gonna uncheck that and I'm gonna check read only, so no changes can be made. Then I would click send, or actually, then I'm gonna pull over my initials to initial the change. Make that a little bit smaller. And I'm gonna put a date next to it as well. Wait, do I have to do the date? I don't think so. I think just the initials is okay. Yeah. So I don't need the date. If I don't need one of these fields, I click on it and then at the bottom it'll say delete. I'll click delete. Then I'd send this off to get initialed.
When you go on envelopes, you click on the envelope name.
Uh-huh. For correction,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to create a whole new envelope. So you click new envelope, and then you're gonna pull in the document that needs to be corrected. And you'll do the corrections in the field editing area.
Sorry, I was trying to get to
No,
that-
that's okay.
back to that spot.
Any questions from today? Russ, do you have any questions?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
All right, cool. All right, thanks for joining us today. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to help. And I will see you guys later.
Thanks, Blake.
Bye.